Act 2. The Shadow-Cursed Lands. A twisted, corrupt terrain where the shadows suffocate all light, and necrotic energy seeks to devour the life of all living creatures. Sounds pretty awesome, right? There's a lot to look forward to in the second act of Baldur's Gate 3, but before marching off into this cursed hellscape, you might want to consider some tips from a guy that's already seen his fair share of horrors.
Guys, these Koatoas are caked out. I'm not kidding. Get over here and look at these caked out Koatoas.
Oh my god! How the fuck did these guys sneak up on us? How did the clapping of their asses not alert us from a mile away? You have +5 wisdom, you couldn't hear that?
This video will not contain any spoilers, but will show footage of some Act 2 encounters. Without further ado, here are 5 tips to help maximize your next vacation to the Shadow-Cursed Lands. Starting off with number 1, don't die to necrotic damage. 76.8% of all enemies do necrotic damage in Act 2. If you're not prepared for it, you may be scooping the remains of your fallen party members more often than you'd like, but I've got just the prescription for that.
Okay, I think what we need to do is figure out how to build those potions of necrotic resistance.
Oh, I already know how to make those.
Elixirs are the name of the game. It's time to brush up on alchemy because some of these are game-breakingly powerful. Once you drink one, it lasts until a long rest. Even if alchemy hasn't been a side gig for you up until this point, just make a habit of looting the surrounding flowers as soon as you enter the zone and traverse the dark. You should be able to craft elixirs of necrotic resistance in no time. Things get dramatically harder in Act 2, so you need to take advantage of every boon the game tosses your way.
Okay, it's okay. It's actually fine.
And trust me, alchemy's not as complicated as it might look at first glance. In the alchemy menu, the only thing you really have to pay attention to is this extract all ingredients button at the bottom. This will mash up everything for you instantly, so all you have to do is filter craftable recipes and pick and choose which ones you want. I may make an extended video deep diving into alchemy a little bit later if that interests enough people, but for now, let's just focus on you guys crafting those elixirs of necrotic resistance so you don't die. Now it's on to lesson 2. Examine everything.
Oh, look at its ass!
I did, dude!
I don't think you can get past Act 2 without this. I'm serious, once you reach this point of the game, you should really get in the habit of examining every single new enemy that you come across.
Do you guys do right-click examine?
Yeah.
Always.
You can just press T.
Oh,
When hovering
wow.
over something?
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing on Tactician, where some enemies will just reflect certain damage types back at you.
What if I did a Vow of Enmity, and I did a level 1 Smite to boot?
Oh, remember that thing I said literally 11 seconds ago where they reflect radiant damage back to you twofold? It's late here, guys. There are a lot of very unique mini-bosses in this portion of the game. The designers clearly put a lot of thought into making these encounters very special. But you won't do yourself or the psychos who came up with these mechanics any justice if you just go around guessing everything's weakness.
I feel like if you do damage to him, it like eventually pops him. I have no fucking idea.
Shout out to the poor souls that got decimated by exploding mud methods in Act 1.
Ow.
Exploding bad guys do seem to be a reoccurring theme, so don't get caught off guard by them. Fun fact, if an enemy has an effect that triggers when they die, turn on non-lethal damage so you just knock them out and never trigger the death effect. How neat is that? In this portion of the game, you're really going to want to know when an enemy is sensitive to light or immune to fire, so before throwing that useless fireball in an embarrassing gale, take a few moments to just hit that examine button and turn the fight in your favor. Speaking of light, it's very important in a place called the Cursed Shadowlands. Go figure! There are a lot of ways that you can ensure that you never get stuck in the dark if you're crafty enough. Obviously, the light cantrip is great because it doesn't require any concentration and lasts until long rest, but let's say you're in a weird party that doesn't have access to it. Rather than have your barbarians swap out their Great Maul for a dinky torch, you can simply open your inventory menu, drag a torch from your inventory onto the floor and light up the area as a free action. You're going to notice a suspicious amount of braziers and candles scattered all over the place. This isn't by accident. Make a habit of always turning them on when you see them, even if it's in the middle of combat.
I've never been more smart than I am right now in my entire life. Shot him with a fire arrow, lighting the candles behind him. I'm too good at this. I'm gonna take a seat right here.
This is your best bet from keeping those pesky shadows from playing peekaboo with your wizard that forgot to cast mage armor this morning.
Oh my god!
Oh, where'd that guy come from?
And if certain enemies refuse to stay down, give them a taste of elemental damage. If you land a killing blow with an element, they won't be standing back up again. Ever.
Why are your arms that long? What medicinal practice could that serve?
I knew he would just bring them back.
Oh, you get to go immediately and have actions? I hate that for you. I don't like her. Stay dead this time.
Okay, this fourth tip only applies to the 6 people out there that for some unknown reason are not using Karlach in their party.
Oh my god, she's so big.
If you've managed to keep Damon the Blacksmith alive through Act 1, well, first of all, you're a better man than me, and second, you're in for a treat. Scattered all throughout this game is an item called Infernal Iron. I won't get too descriptive of why Karlach needs this, but if she's not in your party and you've got some spare scraps laying around, find Damon and bring it to him ASAP.
Rare to get your hands on this stuff. Well done keeping it to hand.
This dude will hook you up with some of the most insane magic items you may ever come across free of charge.
And be careful who you show that to. It might draw the wrong kind of attention.
If you don't want his magic items, then just sell them right back to him. Some of these go for like 1700 gold a pop. Once you have a taste of these though, I promise you'll be hunting for more Infernal Iron like your life depends on it. If you do have Karlach in your party, well then just continue to bring this man his special iron. She'll appreciate it.
This is the best day.
Hell yeah.
The best day.
Alright, number 5. I've saved the most important for last, and it will absolutely maximize the Baldur's Gate 3 experience for anybody going into Act 2. Now this advice is reserved for only the true fans that have supported my channel thus far, or were lucky enough to stumble upon this footage while falling down a rabbit hole. Alright, here we go. Before you enter Act 2, the game will ask you if you're ready to proceed before sending you into a loading screen. When prompted, say no. Don't worry, it's only for a moment. Before you say yes to Act 2, I want you to open your settings and go to the audio tab, find the music volume,
And crank that shit to the max.
My boy Borislav had abso-fucking-lutely zero chill when he composed the music for Act 2, and you deserve to hear every single note of it. This is without a doubt the most inspired and creative music that I've ever heard in a video game. It's haunting yet heroic, somber and satisfying, chilling and climactic. Even uttering this description of his music has me covered in goosebumps. The man rolls a nat 20 on performance for every single track in this zone.
Money please.
An absolute mastercraft in composing, and you cannot afford to miss it. Act 2 blew my mind. As I wrap up this video, I can only say that I hope everyone takes the time to savor it. Go slow and try to discover the entire map. Read the journals you find laying around. Search the secret doors. Talk to every NPC. There's so much story scattered in these shadows. Don't opt to enter the climax of this zone until you're absolutely certain that you've done everything you can. The writing in this game is absolutely next level. And as I sit here reeling from what Larian was able to accomplish here, I can't help but wonder,
What is Act 3 gonna be like?
thank you so much for watching, and consider subscribing if you want more Baldur's Gate 3 content from me. Good luck out there, everybody.